The backyard bursts with sound, a chaotic symphony of laughter, clinking glasses, and the distant thump of a classic rock song bleeding from the garage. The sun hangs low, painting the humid Iowa air in hazy gold. A small, vibrant figure, a firefly among the adults, weaves through legs like a living ribbon. This is Lily, all wide smiles and boundless energy, her bright dress a splash of defiance against the darkening green. She's chasing her older cousins, their teenage world, a mystery she desperately wants to join. Their playful shoves, a form of acceptance. The air is thick with the sweet scent of grilling meat and cut grass, the kind of smell that seals a moment in time. They are playing hide and seek. The game's innocence a stark contrast to the shadow waiting just beyond the porch light. 1 minute she is there, a burst of giggles behind a large oak. The next, the space is empty, the laughter cut short, not by a successful find, but by an unnerving silence. The shift is subtle at first, a missed step in the game, a question met with no answer. If you've ever felt that chilling moment when everything changes in an instant, hit like and let us know in the comments what you would do. The music outside keeps playing, oblivious. The cousins call her name, their voices tinged with impatience turning quickly to confusion. "Lily, where'd you go?" The playful tone drains away, replaced by a sharp edge of worry. It starts with a look exchanged, a shared shrug escalating into darting eyes scanning the familiar space. She's not behind the tree, not under the picnic table. The adults, deep in conversation, don't notice the quiet ripple of unease spreading through the children first. Aunt Carol walks by, asking if anyone's seen Lily, a casual question that lands like a stone in still water. The air pressure drops. That vibrant ribbon of color, Lily's bright dress, is nowhere in sight. The first shout is tentative, a half-hearted call, but the second is louder, laced with a sudden, raw fear that electrifies the gathering. People stop talking, heads turn. The thumping music suddenly feels deafening, intrusive. A knot tightens in the pit of a stomach. The search begins not with an organized plan, but a desperate, spreading wave of panic as everyone simultaneously realizes she isn't just hiding well. She simply isn't there. The golden light of dusk seems to mock them, illuminating an empty yard that moments before was full. Voices rise, frantic, calling her name over and over, each shout a desperate prayer swallowed by the indifferent summer evening. Where is Lily? Where is she? The joy of the day is dissolving like smoke, leaving behind a cold, sickening void that screams louder than any sound. The frantic calls echo, bouncing off oak trees and quiet suburban homes. Parents are stumbling through the backyard, voices hoarse, shouting the name again and again, a raw, ragged sound tearing the evening apart. The screen door bangs open and shut as siblings spill out, eyes wide, confusion giving way to panic. Neighbors are emerging from their houses, drawn by the rising tide of fear, faces etched with concern in the porch light glow. Flashlights click on, beams cutting erratic paths through the growing darkness, sweeping under bushes, behind sheds, into the shallow creek bed at the edge of the property. A sense of immediate, desperate chaos grips the small yard, then spills over the fence lines. More cars are arriving, not just neighbors now. Police cruisers are pulling up, blue and red lights pulsing silently at first, then casting their urgent, disorienting dance across the familiar streetscape. Officers are stepping out, their crisp uniforms a stark contrast to the rumpled, fear-stricken figures already searching. One officer is speaking quietly but firmly to the distraught parents, his notepad out, his expression hardening with each question asked and left unanswered. The initial frantic energy is beginning to coalesce into something more organized, yet no less desperate. Community members are gathering at the curb, forming impromptu search parties, their whispered questions and shared anxieties filling the air. The air itself feels thick with unspoken dread. Hours are stretching, morphing into a relentless, terrifying expanse of time. The flashlights are still moving, weaker now, batteries fading, reflecting the draining hope in the searchers' faces. Hands are pushing through thorny undergrowth, feet are stumbling over uneven ground, eyes are straining in the gloom. Every rustle of leaves, every distant dog bark sends a jolt of false hope, followed by the crushing weight of silence. The vibrant energy of the initial search is yielding to a quiet, persistent exhaustion. The laughter and safety that normally cocoon this street feel impossibly distant, shattered into a million pieces by the missing child. Internal thoughts are racing. Where? How? Why? A relentless loop of questions with no answers, only the growing ache of fear. The police tape is appearing now, a thin yellow line marking off the immediate area, signifying a shift, a transformation. This is no longer just a child wandering off. This is becoming something far more serious, far more terrifying. An officer is walking towards the main group, his shoulders slumped slightly, the look in his eyes confirming the worst fear. They are initiating a formal missing person investigation, the next horrifying step into the unknown. The crisp air biting at skin gives way to the damp chill of late autumn. Weeks bleed into months, marked by the browning of leaves and the persistent drumming of rain against window panes. The initial frenzy of boots pounding forest floors, sirens echoing through valleys, and helicopters slicing the sky begins to quieten. One by one, the official vehicles vanish from the main street and the roads leading out of town. Blue and red lights no longer paint the darkness. The uniformed figures who once brought a semblance of organized hope now pack equipment, their movements precise, professional, final. The house sits wrapped in a profound silence, broken only by the creak of floorboards or the soft sigh that escapes a parent's lips. The initial shock has curdled into a deep, bone-weary ache. Dishes pile in the sink, laundry baskets overflow, small domestic chaos mirroring the larger void. The mother sits by the window, her eyes tracing the path leading to the empty road, her fingers twisting a worn piece of fabric, a relic of happier days. Hope, once a fiery beacon, flickers now like a weak candle in a drafty room, easily extinguished by the persistent chill of reality. Each day without news piles another stone onto the already unbearable weight pressing down on their chests. They move through the hours like ghosts in their own home, the silence amplifying the absence, every empty chair a painful reminder. The town itself feels altered, the air thick with unspoken sadness. Conversations hush when the parents pass by. Eyes look away, not from lack of empathy, but from the sheer inability to find words that aren't platitudes, words that can bridge the chasm of their grief. Missing person posters, once vibrant and plastered everywhere, now peel at the edges, faded by sun and rain, a poignant visual testament to the passage of time and the coldness of the trails. The woods at the edge of town, once familiar and inviting, now loom, dark and silent, holding their secrets close. The official search might be scaling down, but the personal one never ends. It simply changes form, retreating inward, becoming a constant hum of what if and where are they that resonates in every quiet moment. This unresolved pain settles like a persistent fog, clinging to the town, becoming a part of its very identity. The family carries the heaviest burden, facing a future stretching out endlessly, haunted by the ghost of the past, a life defined not by presence, but by a chilling, empty space that 38 years will never fill. They are left standing at the edge of an unknown future, the weight of this moment pressing down, suggesting the long, silent struggle that lies ahead. 38 years stretch like a long shadow, yet the light caught in this quiet living room feels thin, unable to push the darkness back entirely. Sarah traces the rim of her mug, the ceramic cool against her fingertips. Across from her, Mark is staring out the window, his gaze fixed on the city lights blurring against the twilight sky. They are living, functioning, built around the gaping hole left behind. Decades of careful normalcy haven't proven a fragile shield. His shoulders are carrying the weight of years, the kind that accumulate not just from time, but from unanswered questions. Sarah feels it too, a constant hum beneath her skin, a phantom ache. They talk about work, the weather, mundane things, but the unspoken is a heavy third presence in the room. She is seeing the child's fearful eyes behind his adult stoicism. He is hearing the echo of her childhood cries in the quiet spaces between their words. The past isn't just a memory. It is a permanent resident here, rearranging the furniture of their lives. Tonight, the air feels particularly charged. Mark turns slowly from the window, his expression unreadable, but Sarah sees the familiar tension tightening around his mouth. He walks to a small, locked box on the bookshelf, the one they never open. His hand hovers over it, a simple wooden box holding remnants of a time they both try and fail to forget. The sound of his unsteady breathing is loud in the sudden stillness. This is the resilience they've built, the ability to simply exist despite the weight. But tonight, the trauma is pushing harder. He isn't opening it, not yet, but the possibility hangs thick in the air. The questions are pressing in, louder than usual. Why? How? Who? Living with the unknown for so long is like carrying a stone that gets heavier every year. It's not just sadness. It's a corrosive uncertainty that eats away at the edges of their peace. The need for closure is a raw nerve, exposed tonight by the simple act of reaching for a box. He pulls his hand back, letting it fall heavily to his side. The small movement feels monumental. Sarah's heart is pounding, a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She is seeing his struggle, the internal battle she knows so well, because she is fighting it too. There is a shared look, a silent acknowledgement of the years of pain and the fragile peace constantly under threat. The air crackles with unresolved tension. He is turning his head towards her, his eyes holding a flicker of something she hasn't seen in a long time. Not despair, but a desperate, nascent resolve. A thought forms between them, unspoken but understood. Maybe enduring isn't enough anymore. Maybe it's time to seek the answers the years have hidden. They are turning the corner onto Maple Lane, the familiar, sickening dip in the pavement jolting the car. The old house looms ahead, a dark shape behind overgrown hedges, peeling paint scaling its weathered siding like a disease. Dust motes dance in the slivers of sunlight slanting through the smudged windshield. A heavy quiet settles, thicker than the air outside, pressing down. Reaching for the worn door handle, the metal cool against her palm, apprehension tightens in her chest. A cold knot. This place, once vibrant with laughter and Lily's boundless energy, now feels like a tomb, breathing dust. He's stepping out first, the gravel crunching under his weight, his gaze fixed on the front porch, a silent question in his posture. The scent of damp wood and decay hangs heavy, mingling with the faint ghosts of honeysuckle from a better time. Each step up the cracked walkway is a tread back through years of layered pain and unanswered questions. The front door is stiff, resistant, as if the house itself is reluctant to let them in, protecting its secrets behind faded wood and locked memories. Pushing it open, a wave of stale air washes over them. The inside is a tableau frozen in time, draped in a thick shroud of dust. Sheets cover furniture like white specters. Sunlight slices through grimy windows, illuminating the neglect, the silence amplifying the sense of loss. Nostalgia hits, sharp and sudden, a pang of warmth for happy moments, immediately overshadowed by the cold dread of that day. She is seeing the faint outline where Lily's height was marked on the doorframe, a cruel reminder of growth interrupted. He is walking slowly into the living room, his shoulders slumped, his hand trailing along the back of a dust-covered armchair, remembering it is impossible to be here and not feel the weight of the past pulling them under. The psychological tendrils wrapping around their present selves, demanding they confront what happened within these walls. Tension hums in the air, vibrating with unspoken grief. Every creak of the floorboard, every shadow shifting in the corners, feels significant, charged with the energy of tragedy. They are moving deeper into the house, navigating the physical space that holds the geography of their trauma. The dining room table is still set with phantom places. The kitchen counter holds a single, forgotten teacup. It's like walking through a museum of heartbreak, each object a silent witness. He is stopping in the hallway, looking towards the stairs leading to the second floor. A floorboard near the bottom step is darker than the rest, a stain that has never truly faded. She feels a tremor run through her. The memory of the sound, the scramble, the absolute chaos of those minutes replaying in her mind. The air grows colder as they approach the staircase. The true heart of the house's sorrow lying just beyond. The house is pulling them in, guiding them inevitably towards the place where everything changed, urging a closer look at the details hidden in plain sight. They are stepping into the forgotten wing, the air immediately thickening, heavy with dust and the scent of decay. Sunlight struggles through grimy windows, casting long, distorted shadows across peeling wallpaper and shrouded furniture. Their footsteps sound unnaturally loud on the bare, uncarpeted floors, echoing slightly in the oppressive silence. A chilling stillness holds the space, a palpable absence of movement or life that feels deeply unsettling. He is scanning the corners, his eyes narrowed, a knot tightening in his stomach. She is hugging her arms, shivering despite the stuffy air, feeling an almost physical weight pressing down on her. It feels like the house is holding its breath here, a thought whispers through her mind, raising the hairs on her arms. They are moving slowly, each step hesitant, exploring the neglected rooms. In one, a child's rocking horse stands motionless, its painted eyes staring blankly. In another, a single chair sits facing a dark wall, an unnerving tableau. The atmosphere is not just silent, it is watchful. A prickling sensation starts on the back of his neck, the undeniable feeling of being observed from the periphery, just outside the edge of his vision. He is turning his head sharply, but nothing is there, only the empty space and the dancing dust motes caught in the weak light. The creeping dread is a cold current running beneath their skin, a primitive warning screaming at them to retreat, yet a morbid curiosity holds them captive. They are drawn deeper into the forgotten heart of the house, compelled by the secrets the walls seem to hold. She is reaching out to touch a dusty mantelpiece, her fingers leaving a clean streak but recoils suddenly, a faint scraping sound seeming to come from within the wall beside her. They are both freezing, listening intently, but the sound does not repeat. It is just the house, settling, or perhaps something else entirely. The suspense is building with every silent minute they spend in this space. He is noticing a section of the wall near a boarded-up fireplace. The pattern of the peeling wallpaper, slightly different there. A sense of anticipation, mixed with fear, is rising. They are looking at each other, a shared understanding passing between them. This is more than just an old house. It is hiding something significant. The wall section looks just large enough to conceal. What? His fingers brush against the rough stone, tracing a pattern that seems familiar, yet out of place. A slight imperfection catches his attention, a fissure too straight, too deliberate to be natural wear. Dust motes dance in the sliver of light, piercing the gloom from above, illuminating the subtle lines of a seam where no seam should be. He presses gently, cautiously. The stone doesn't yield, but a faint grating sound, almost inaudible, echoes in the thick silence. A chill, not from the cold air, creeps up his spine. This isn't just a wall, it's a deception. It stands in a forgotten alcove, tucked away behind overgrown foliage and crumbling masonry, a place deliberately erased from casual notice. Ivy clings stubbornly, attempting to reclaim the surface, but the precision of the hidden work beneath defies nature's slow decay. It's brilliant, almost arrogant in its concealment. For years, he's walked past, felt the presence of something more, a subtle hum beneath the surface of reality, never knowing it was waiting here, hidden in plain sight. Shock registers first, a breathless jolt that makes his hands tremble. Confusion swirls, a dizzying attempt to reconcile the mundane wall he thought he knew with this undeniable evidence of a secret. Apprehension follows swiftly, a cold wave washing over him. What is this? Who built it? What is behind it? His mind races, conjuring shadows and impossibilities. Every instinct screams caution, urges retreat, tells him to pretend he never found it, to seal it back into obscurity and forget the unsettling truth it represents. But beneath the fear, a different force is stirring. It's a deep, resonant hum within him, a pull so profound it feels less like a choice and more like gravity. It's the culmination of a lifetime's seeking, questioning, feeling the edges of the world didn't quite meet. This aperture isn't just a hidden door. It feels like the answer to questions he didn't even know how to ask. It's a magnetic force, drawing him in, whispering promises of understanding, of a reality previously unimagined. The apprehension is a physical weight, heavy in his chest, but the compulsion to investigate is a burning light, searing away the fear. Tension coils tight in the air, thick with the unknown. The stone seems to hold its breath, guarding its centuries-old secret. The silence pulses, amplifying the sound of his own ragged breathing, the frantic beat of his heart. What lies beyond this threshold? Treasure? Danger? A different time? A different world? The possibilities are vast and terrifying, each one adding another layer to the potent mix of fear and fascination. His hand hovers over the seam, fingers twitching with an irresistible urge. He takes a deep breath, the dust tickling his nostrils, grounding him in the physical reality of the moment. The pull intensifies, becoming an undeniable command. He is reaching now, his fingers finding purchase along the barely visible edge. The decision is made, the fear momentarily silenced by the roar of destiny. He is moving the stone, slowly, deliberately, revealing the darkness beyond. The heavy stone pivots inward with a groan, revealing not a grand chamber, but a narrow, suffocating passage plunging into absolute darkness. A blast of stale, musty air hits their faces, thick with the scent of damp earth and something else, something cloying and unsettling, like forgotten decay. Dust motes, disturbed by the movement, dance wildly in the beam of their flashlight, swirling like restless spirits in the void. It feels colder here, a bone-deep chill that has nothing to do with the outside temperature. A wave of immediate, instinctive revulsion washes over them, a primal urge to slam the door shut and pretend this darkness doesn't exist. Yet, they are rooted to the spot, staring into the abyss. Fear is a cold knot tightening in their stomachs, sharp and undeniable, whispering warnings of the unknown. But beneath the fear, a fierce, almost desperate need to understand surges. Why was this hidden? What secrets does this passage hold? Their breath is catching in their throats, ragged and shallow. Every instinct screams danger, but their minds are racing, piecing together the impossibility of this hidden space existing just feet away, undetected for so long. This isn't just a passage. It feels like stepping across a boundary into a place time forgot, a place deliberately erased. The weight of years, centuries perhaps, presses down on them, heavy and suffocating. It feels wrong, profoundly wrong, to be intruding here. The flashlight beam probes deeper, illuminating cobwebs thick as funeral shrouds clinging to rough-hewn stone walls. The passage is unnaturally quiet, the outside world completely muted, leaving only the sound of their own pounding hearts and shallow breaths. A faint, almost imperceptible draft slithers past them from the depths, carrying that same sickening, sweet smell. This isn't random. This space feels deliberately crafted, connected to the past in a way that chills them to the core. It's not just old, it's ancient, holding a story they are compelled, against their better judgment, to uncover. The sheer secrecy, the effort taken to conceal this entrance, speaks volumes about whatever lies within. They are trembling, caught between the horror of the unknown and the relentless pull of discovery. Taking a shaky breath, they know there is no turning back now. The darkness beckons, promising answers, or perhaps only deeper mysteries, and they find their feet already taking the first tentative step over the threshold, into the waiting black. The air grows thick with the scent of stale dust and something else, something metallic and cold. Hands fumble along a loose floorboard, curiosity morphing into urgency. It lifts with a groan, revealing not empty space, but a dark cavity. Flashlight beams pierce the gloom, landing on scattered items. There, tucked away, sits a small, worn doll, its button eye missing, beside it a crumpled piece of paper. A child's drawing stares back, crude stick figures, one small, one large and menacing, surrounded by jagged lines that feel like screams. Nearby, a small digital recorder lies half buried in the dirt. A collective breath catches. This isn't just a hiding spot. It's a tomb of moments stolen. The silence in the room is deafening, punctuated only by the ragged sound of someone's breathing. A hand reaches tentatively, fingers brushing against the doll's matted hair. It feels too real, too present. The crumpled drawing unfolds carefully, the fear in the childish strokes palpable, radiating outwards like a cold wave. Heartbeats hammer against ribs, a frantic drumbeat echoing the terror etched onto the paper. Horror washes over them, cold and absolute. Grief wells up, sharp and suffocating, for the child who left these fragments behind, for the fear she must have endured in this very space. A hot surge of righteous rage follows, burning through the grief, settling deep in the gut. This wasn't a disappearance, it was a violation. The chilling reality of what happened in this hidden space crystallizes, stark and brutal. Lily wasn't lost. She was taken, held, silenced within these walls. The discovery shifts everything. The mystery of where she was is answered, but the agonizing question of why and who did this explodes with renewed, furious intensity. The hunt changes shape, no longer a search for a missing child, but a relentless pursuit of her captor. Picking up the small recorder, fingers tremble. There's a tiny light on it. It's recording. What truths are being captured in this small, dark box? The implications are vast, terrifying. This isn't the end of the search. It's the brutal beginning of the fight for justice. The path forward is clear, albeit fraught with danger. Find the person whose shadow looms large in the drawing, whose actions led to these hidden echoes. They press the playback button, anticipating the sound of truth. They are staring at the collected fragments, the final pieces slotting into place. A pattern emerges from the chaos, clear and horrifying. The small specific detail on the tarnished locket, combined with the unusual residue found near the edge of the property, it speaks volumes. It's not a stranger. It's someone who knows these grounds, knows this family intimately. A shiver runs through Maya as she connects the dots, her breath catching. It's someone who moved among them, a familiar face twisted by an unseen sickness. David slams a hand onto the table, the sudden sound sharp and raw. His jaw is clenched, eyes burning with a fury so intense it feels like a physical heat in the room. He is seeing not just the evidence, but the betrayal woven into every calculated step this person took. This is a violation beyond words, a poisoning of trust that runs deep. Alex is trembling slightly, not from fear, but from a profound, gut-wrenching disgust. The motive, pieced together from obsessive notes and misplaced trinkets, paints a picture of warped affection. A possessiveness that curdled into something monstrously selfish. It's a love story told through destruction, a desperate grab for control born from a void inside them. They weren't driven by simple malice, but by a twisted, all-consuming need to possess what they felt was theirs, even if it meant tearing it apart. Maya clenches her fists, her nails digging into her palms. Empathy is battling with a cold, hard resolve. She feels the weight of what has been lost, the innocent lives touched by this shadow, and the feeling fuels a burning desire for justice that eclipses everything else. It is no longer just about understanding. It's about rectifying. The air crackles with their collective rage and determination. A sudden, sharp rap at the back door makes them all freeze. Their heads snap up, eyes wide and alert. Is it a neighbor? Or is the architect of this shadow, now unmasked in their minds, lingering nearby? The silence stretches, thick with unspoken fear and a surging readiness for confrontation. They are no longer hiding in the shadows of uncertainty. They are stepping into the light of knowing, and that light casts a long, menacing shape on the other side. Their gaze locks, a silent agreement passing between them. They know who it is. Now they are moving. Dust motes are dancing in the single shaft of light piercing the room, illuminating the chaotic stacks of boxes and papers. She is leaning over a desk, tracing faded lines on a brittle document with a trembling finger. The air hangs heavy with the smell of aging paper and a cloying sense of history. He sits opposite her, eyes glued to a screen filled with scanned records, clicking tirelessly, cross-referencing dates and names. Their movements are slow, deliberate, weighted by the task at hand. This is not just research. It's an excavation, a digging through layers of time and pain. Every page turned, every entry read, brings another piece of the fractured past into focus. But it also scrapes against old wounds. She presses a hand to her chest, feeling the familiar ache blooming there, a physical manifestation of the trauma she is forced to revisit. It's right here, isn't it? Hiding in plain sight. He glances up, catching her eye, and a silent understanding passes between them, the shared burden of uncovering a truth that hurts. His jaw is set, a muscle twitching near his temple, a testament to his grim focus. They are fueled by a quiet rage, a fierce determination that cuts through the exhaustion settling deep in their bones. Hours bleed into days. The rhythm of their investigation is hypnotic, a relentless push forward. The soft rustle of paper, the low hum of the computer, the occasional sigh are the only sounds breaking the stillness. A sense of suspense builds with every connected dot. A name reappearing, a date aligning unexpectedly, a detail in one record corroborating a fragmented memory. They are building a mosaic of evidence, piece by painstaking piece, the picture growing clearer, sharper, more horrifying with each addition. He finds it, a seemingly innocuous entry in a ledger that, when placed alongside another document, locks a crucial detail into place. A sharp intake of breath from her side of the desk. He looks at the screen, then at her, his eyes wide with the sudden, crushing weight of certainty. The emotional climax hits them simultaneously, a wave of horror and vindication washing over the room. It is undeniably true. The pieces fit. The truth is laid bare before them, stark and unforgiving. A powerful cinematic detail is the close-up shot of the two documents lying side by side on the desk, the damning connection highlighted by a cursor on the screen. The light catches the dust particles swirling above the pivotal evidence. The air feels thinner now, charged with the gravity of their discovery. They have unearthed it all. The past is no longer a vague shadow. It is a concrete, undeniable reality. The question hanging in the silence is no longer what happened, but what are they going to do about it now that they know? A hushed intensity is filling the small room. Dust motes are dancing in the single shaft of light, slicing through the drawn blinds, illuminating the spread of documents and tangled string maps on the table. Their faces are etched with a familiar weariness, but beneath it, a fierce resolve is hardening. They are leaning in, voices low, a constant hum of quiet urgency filling the air. This is it. A thought is echoing in Leo's mind. A terrifying, exhilarating truth. The storm is gathering. Maria is tracing a line on the map with a trembling finger, pointing to a cluster of buildings. Involving them, it brings a different kind of risk, she is saying softly, her gaze flicking to Ben. They might move before we're ready. They might dismiss it. Ben is nodding slowly, his jaw tight. He feels the familiar weight of doubt pressing down, the years of being ignored, of being told he was wrong. But the evidence sitting before them, painstakingly gathered, it is undeniable now. Still, the fear is a cold knot in his stomach. What if this final push alerts the target prematurely? What if they simply vanish? Chloe is shifting in her seat. Her hands clasp so tightly her knuckles are white. Her heart is pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. The sheer audacity of what they are contemplating feels overwhelming. Direct confrontation, even one carefully planned to gather more undeniable proof, feels like stepping into a lion's den. The memories are flashing behind her eyes, sharp and painful, fueling her need for justice, but also whispering warnings of danger. She is picturing the target's face, the casual cruelty, and a wave of cold dread is washing over her. But then she is seeing the faces of others who suffered, and her resolve is hardening like tempered steel. "We have to do this," the silent mantra repeats. They are weighing the options, the tension in the room thick enough to cut with a knife. The argument isn't about if they should act, but how. One path feels safer but slower, risking the target's escape. The other is faster, more direct, promising a swifter resolution, but fraught with potential peril. The air is vibrating with unspoken fears and desperate hopes. They are balancing the burning emotional need to act now against the strategic imperative to ensure success. This isn't just about clearing names. It's about preventing future harm, about finally facing the darkness that has lingered for so long. The silence stretches, heavy and significant, as each person is grappling with the gravity of the moment, the potential cost. A decision is solidifying in their eyes, a unified purpose finally aligning their varied anxieties and desires. They are beginning to gather their equipment, their movements precise and purposeful, the quiet determination on their faces a stark contrast to the chaos churning within. The first step is taken, leaving the maps behind, moving towards the door and the unknown. The sterile air of the police station lobby presses in, smelling faintly of stale coffee and something metallic. Fingers are tracing the worn edges of a heavy envelope, the paper slightly crinkled from anxious handling. Each breath feels too loud in the quiet hum of bureaucracy. A deep vulnerability washes over, exposing every nerve ending, making the simple act of walking towards the counter a monumental effort. This is it, the point of no return, the first hesitant step onto the path of formal justice, laying bare the truth that has been hidden for too long. A sense of gravity settles, heavy and absolute. There's no turning back from this threshold. Inside a small, functional office, the officer's desk is a landscape of lo-fi efficiency. A stack of forms, a chunky computer monitor, a half-empty mug. The envelope is placed on the desk, a small, innocuous object carrying immense weight. Hands are unsteady as they carefully arrange supporting documents beside it. The officer's gaze is calm, steady, assessing, but it feels like an X-ray, seeing right through the carefully constructed facade of composure. Each word spoken is chosen with excruciating care, detailing the contents of the envelope, the culmination of relentless effort and quiet suffering. The vulnerability intensifies, a raw, exposed feeling, as years of suppressed reality are articulated into the tangible world of official procedure. This isn't just a report, it's a reckoning being initiated, a line being drawn. The tension coils tight in the chest, waiting for a reaction, an acknowledgement that this isn't dismissed, that it is seen. The officer reaches out, picking up the envelope, the movement deliberate, confirming the evidence is taken seriously. A flicker of relief, small but significant, sparks in the chest. The wheels are beginning to turn, setting in motion the process that will finally hold the perpetrator accountable for their actions. The first light of justice is breaking, casting long shadows, promising a future where the truth stands tall. The air hangs heavy, thick with the unspoken. She is watching, eyes fixed, as the quiet click of a door signals an end to running. Flashing lights pulse weakly outside, casting shifting shadows across the room. the muffled voices of authority, a low hum through the walls. He stands there, cornered by truth, the bluster gone, replaced by a hollow stillness. It isn't the dramatic chase she might have imagined, but a quiet, inevitable collapse. A wave washes over her. The first layer is pure, breathless relief, a physical weight lifting from her chest that makes her knees feel weak. Then comes the sharp, metallic taste of vindication, the confirmation that her pain was seen, believed, acted upon. This is the moment of accountability, the scene where the carefully constructed lies finally crumble under the harsh light of day. But beneath the surface of this victory, something else is stirring. A profound sadness is creeping in, cold and deep, acknowledging the damage that led to this point. It's not just about him facing consequences. It's about the cost paid by everyone, the fractured trust, the lost time. She is realizing with a gut-wrenching certainty that even this form of justice, this undeniable step towards resolution, doesn't magically rewind time or erase the scars etched onto her soul. It's a bittersweet paradox, this moment of reckoning. A necessary step, a point of closure being served, yes, but it feels heavy, burdened by the weight of what could never be undone. The clicking sound of a camera flashes briefly through a crack in the door, a stark cinematic detail freezing this instance of public exposure. He is being led away now, a final glance holding nothing but defeat. The space he leaves behind feels vast, empty, but also strangely clean. The silence that follows is deafening, filled only with the echo of her own heartbeat and the daunting question of what comes next, in the quiet, empty rooms of the aftermath. The house is holding its breath. Dust motes dance in the afternoon sunbeam slanting through the living room window, illuminating the quiet. They are sitting, scattered, not talking, just existing in the space that holds so many echoes. The air feels both heavier and lighter than it did before, thick with unspoken grief, yet thin with a new, fragile peace. Sarah traces the worn pattern on the armchair, her mind a landscape of jagged edges slowly beginning to soften. A deep ache resides in her chest, a constant quiet hum of sorrow for the space Lily occupied, now vast and empty. Yet beneath it, a gentle current of relief flows, a sense of closure settling like a balm on raw wounds. Across the room, Mark is watching the leaves outside, his gaze distant. He isn't fidgeting, not pacing, just still. It's a stillness born of exhaustion, but also acceptance. He is processing not just the loss, but the storm they weathered. The fight is over. The silence now feels less like a threat and more like a necessary stillness, a fallow period for their souls. He reaches out and gently takes Daniel's hand as the boy walks past, heading towards the kitchen for water. Daniel pauses, leaning into the unexpected touch, a silent acknowledgement passing between father and son. Their bond, strained by fear and uncertainty, is reforging in this quiet aftermath, stronger, more tender. The community is giving them space, a respectful distance, marked by hushed tones and sympathetic glances when they step outside. Food appears on the porch, quiet offers of help arrive via text. It's a different kind of connection now, one rooted in shared experience and empathy, rather than the tension that had coiled around them for so long. There's a profound sense of isolation in their grief, yet also a quiet strength blooming, the resilience they didn't know they possessed surfacing now the immediate danger has passed. They are picking up the pieces, one quiet breath at a time. The road ahead stretching long and winding, marked by recovery, not just survival. Sarah closes her eyes for a moment, picturing Lily's smile, hearing her laughter. The memory brings a fresh wave of sadness, but it's different now. It's less sharp, less entangled with fear and injustice. It's pure remembrance. A different kind of journey is beginning, one focused on keeping that memory vibrant, on ensuring the light Lily brought into the world doesn't fade, but transforms. She stands up slowly, her gaze drifting towards the small table in the corner, where Lily's favorite book lies open, waiting. The wind is whispering through the newly planted saplings, their young leaves shimmering silver in the afternoon sun. A small group gathers, hands gently brushing bark, tracing the etched words on the humble stone bench. This is where Lily's story truly begins to breathe, not in the hushed, painful echoes of the past, but in the clear, resonant voices finally speaking her truth. The years of silence, of whispered half-truths and buried sorrow, are dissolving like morning mist under this bright, unapologetic light. People are sharing memories now, not just the curated, palatable versions, but the real Lily. Her laughter, her struggles, the fierce, fragile light that burned within her. Work is happening here. Hands are troweling soil, placing vibrant flowers around the memorial stone. It is a physical manifestation of enduring love, a garden of remembrance blooming from the hard ground of loss. Others are busy too, organizing events, writing down Lily's journey with careful, honest words, finding countless small ways to weave her legacy into the fabric of the living world. They are sponsoring art classes in her name, supporting causes she championed, channeling the raw, aching grief into tangible acts of kindness and change. A palpable shift hangs in the air. The heavy cloak of tragedy is still present, a somber shadow, but threads of purpose are weaving through it, bright and resilient. Eyes, once vacant with shock, now hold a steady light of determination. The collective heart, once shattered, is slowly, painfully piecing itself back together, each beat a testament to the love that transcends even death. This is the alchemy of turning unimaginable pain into meaningful action, transforming despair into a foundation for healing and advocacy. It is arduous work, demanding courage and unwavering commitment, yet the energy here is undeniable, a quiet force pushing against the lingering darkness. Tears are still falling, yes, silent tracks down weathered cheeks, but they are different tears now, not just of sorrow, but of understanding, of acceptance, of a fierce, protective love that refuses to let her be forgotten or diminished by the circumstances of her departure. The shared act of tending this space, of speaking her name with pride and truth, solidifies a bond that pain could not break, forging a community united by a singular, beautiful mission, honoring Lily by living better, by ensuring no one else faces what she faced. The sun dips lower, casting long purple shadows across the garden, highlighting the stark reality of loss, yet illuminating the enduring power of connection and purpose found in her wake. This space, vibrant and alive, is now humming with a different kind of energy, one that speaks of a journey not yet over, but moving towards a quiet, lasting peace. Stepping onto the worn porch boards feels different today. Sunlight is pooling around their feet, chasing away the shadows that used to cling here like a second skin. The air carries the scent of damp earth and budding life, a stark contrast to the stale fear that once permeated these spaces. Their hands reach out, one tracing the rough wood of the doorframe, the other gently pushing the door inward. It opens without the familiar creak, yielding softly, as if acknowledging the shift in its own history. Inside, dust motes dance in the light slanting through the high windows, illuminating empty corners where terror used to reside. They are moving through the room slowly, not searching, not fearing, but simply being. It is the quiet after the storm, a stillness that settles deep within their bones. The memories are still here, etched into the walls, but they no longer scream. They whisper now. Lessons learned, resilience forged. There is a profound sense of acceptance washing over them, a quiet understanding that this house, this journey, reshaped them irrevocably. The heavy weight of the past is lifting, replaced by a steady, persistent beat of peace. Their thoughts drift to Lily, a current of warmth flowing through the stillness. Her laughter, her spirit, they live on, woven into the fabric of their family, stronger now, more fiercely protective than ever before. The bond forged in shared loss and discovered truth is unbreakable, a lifeline pulled taut across the chasm of grief. They are seeing the journey not as a path of devastation, but one that led them, broken and lost, to a profound truth and a measure of enduring peace. It is a complex peace, layered with the echoes of sorrow, but undeniably real. A quiet hope is flickering within them, a promise of futures yet to be built on this foundation of hard-won resilience. They are standing in the center of the living room, the silence thick with unspoken emotion, feeling the space fill not with ghosts, but with the quiet strength of their own survival. The sun is catching a pattern on the floor, drawing their gaze down, contemplating the simple beauty found in the ordinary. Time holds a different rhythm now. It flows gently, marked by the changing seasons outside the windows, the quiet rituals of a life rebuilt. A small, smooth stone sits on the mantelpiece, a silent, constant reminder. They touch it sometimes, feeling its cool surface, thinking of everything that was lost and everything that remains. The connection to Lily isn't something they reach for. It's simply there, a part of their breathing, a warmth in the quiet moments. Love isn't just memory. It's the current strength flowing between them, holding them upright, guiding their steps forward. Loss is a scar, visible but no longer raw, a testament to the depth of their bond and the enduring power of human connection. This quiet resilience is their legacy, a truth whispered in the stillness. But the quiet carries its own weight. Beneath the settled peace, a low current of sadness persists, a subtle ache that time doesn't erase, merely softens. It's not a sharp pain, but a dull, constant hum of absence. There are moments when the light catches something just right, or a specific sound echoes in the distance, and the complex layers of emotion surface. A wave of wistful melancholy, a flicker of lingering fear swiftly countered by the steady pulse of acceptance, a quiet resignation to the fact that some wounds never fully close. They just change form. This distribution of feeling, a mixture of peace and a quiet sorrow, feels authentic, a true reflection of the journey. They are standing by the old door again, not leaving, not entering, just pausing. The setting sun is casting long shadows, stretching across the floorboards. It paints the space in warm hues, a gentle, visual metaphor. Kindness, they realize, was the unexpected light that guided them through the deepest dark. The door stands open just a crack, not wide, not demanding, simply waiting, suggesting the possibility of stepping forward into the soft, uncertain light of tomorrow, carrying both the weight of what was and the quiet promise of what can be.